Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer. This video is all about covers, the best covers for books I've read from October, November and December. So every 3 months I look at covers and I look at the covers from the books I've read during those 3 months and I just pick the best covers from those 3 months and I put them in a video. Then after all the 4 videos from each of those 3-month periods, I'll have a best covers for the year video. I'll decide on my 3 top covers for books I've read during the year. As I said, this video is for covers during October, November, December, my favourite covers for books I've read during those 3 months. First, The Stranger Diaries, written by Ali Griffiths. I like this cover a lot. We have this foreboding kind of house. The whole cover feels foreboding actually. This house is shrouded in shadow. We have this driveway that leads up to the house. It makes this entrance, this open entrance, it could be a garage or something like that, but it kind of feels like opening to a cave or an abyss in some ways. That's what our eyes lead up to on this cover. And then the sky. The sky is very dark and foreboding as well. All of it feels sinister. It feels like there's secrets, like there's danger. Also feels a bit mysterious, a bit gothic even, and this book itself is a bit gothic. It just feels like this whole house, this whole scene we're seeing is full of something that's sinister. Maybe we shouldn't go there. We want to anyway, we want to see what it is, but maybe we should stand back and just wait. The Last Word by Jerry Lewis. This cover just says fun. And with Cozy Mysteries, this is a cozy mystery. We know we're going to have a bit of fun. But this says a lot more in the cover as well. We have a dog. There's a dog in the story. We have a newspaper that's folded over to an obituary section, and that is prominent in the story. The main character writes obituaries. That plays out in the book very much, and I just love the whole feel of this cover. It feels vibrant. It feels fun. We see some shops. We see this newspaper that plays a prominent role. We see a dog. We see just community as well in this cover. This cover just speaks like there's going to be people involved in this story, a sense of community, a sense of belonging. It all plays out in this cover as well. So I enjoy this cover. I just feel like it's well put together, very vibrant, very eye-catching. It drew my eye to it. One of the reasons I read this book was because of the cover. Holly by Stephen King. This is such a good cover. This house is shrouded in shadow. Then we have 2 lit windows, one on the second story, one in the basement. Who's watching from the second story? What's going on in the basement? It kind of makes you want to know what's going on in this house, but then you think, oh, hang on. It also feels a bit sinister. Very well done with the look and feel of that house. Also the sky. We have red in the sky. I don't know if that's meant to be danger or possibly blood or violence or something, but it's very prominent in this picture. But it's that house with those 2 lit windows that takes center stage and really draws the eye. And for me, that house feels very chilling, very sinister, but there's questions and it's very eye-catching. And it makes you wonder what's going on in there. Golotok, written by Andrew Narberg. This cover is stunning. There's so much going on in this cover. The whole cover just speaks atmosphere. We have this small boat on this very stormy sea. Then we have this island this boat's travelling to. This island feels so sinister. Sinister because of the colours and also because of the skull in these rocks, that skull shape. And just the sky as well is very stormy. Everything about that island, that atmosphere, speaks danger, maybe toxic, maybe poison, deadly. And this small boat going to this big danger, that speaks so much with this cover. I really like this cover. I like the font as well. The font in the title just suits it so well because the font just feels a bit challenging in a way. Very bold. It's kind of grey, metallic in a way as well. Maybe mercury or something like toxic like that. But everything about this cover is just very well done, very atmospheric. Everything makes sense in the cover as well. When you see it, it's very eye-catching. The Night House by Jo Nesbø. There's so much going on in this cover. The house itself feels very textural. It's almost like you can touch it. The phone in the foreground with the blood on it, it's so well done. And that slogan at the bottom is well done as well. It reminds me of like old school horror. That phone in the foreground, it's almost like a 3D image, the old 3D movies where things be thrust at you when you're watching it. That's what this phone reminds me of. The way it's set out is like an old school horror movie poster as well. If I saw this at a cinema, I'd want to watch it. It drew me into this book. The cover's very well done, the structure of it, the colours, everything about it is well chosen, well placed. Just feels like old school horror to me. That's the first thought I get when I look at this cover. Murder by Candlelight by Faith Martin. Everything about this cover screams vintage. The font, the colour choice, that candle, it feels a bit sinister. It is screaming mystery to me as well, but it screams vintage at me as well. Also like the black border. It feels like it's painted on, that's what it looks like. Very well done, good choice. Everything's placed so well on this cover. It just seems like it's so simple, but it's really not. Everything's placed carefully. Everything draws the eye. The colour choice is very good. I really like this cover a lot. One of the best covers I think I've seen all year. I just love the whole structure of it and the colour choice and the way your eye is drawn to certain things on it. I think it's just so well done, so simple, but so effective. Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. This is a clever cover. Very tongue-in-cheek, but very clever. Everything on this cover speaks to what the book's about. We have furniture with price tags. This book is set in a furniture store, think IKEA, with a different name. We have photos on the wall that look sinister. We've got an image on there that's very sinister, like a ghostly face and hands. Very effective. Speaks to paranormal, sinister horror. That's what the book's about. So the two things what the book's about are on the cover. The furniture store and the horror. Very tongue-in-cheek, very colourful, very eye-catching. Poison at the Village Show by Catherine Coles. I like this cover a lot. It speaks old school. Everything's placed so carefully. Very symmetrical, this cover. That's maybe why it's so eye-catching. But it speaks vintage to me. It speaks England to me as well, because it got that red, white and blue in the flags. This feels almost very historical in a way, this cover. Very quaint as well. With the wire kind of frame chairs and the table and the wine glass in the centre. Just the way the cover's sparse but well thought out as well. Just feels very old school. It's almost like those kind of signs you see, wooden signs you see at certain stores that are designed to feel old and antique. That's what I feel like when I look at this cover. It's one of those things. Something a bit modern that's been designed in a way that looks old. So not vintage or antique per se, but just looks that way. I get that when I look at this cover. There you have my favourite covers for October, November and December. All engaging to me for different reasons, but I found them all fascinating and all eye-catching. Will any of these covers be my favourite covers for the year? Who knows? I'll have a video that goes back and looks at all my covers I've picked for the whole year, for books I've read during the year, and I'll pick my 3 favourite covers for the year. On my channel, I review books of all different genres. Check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.